screens up.
A three screen shouty.
Shouts to Noah. He was saying our whole lives are screens. You got computer screens, television
Bro,
screens,
you log
phone
out of
screens.
work, and then go right to your phone screen after. And I can hop on my computer and I'm chilling. So
You step outside, you got sunscreen on.
wow. Dude, that's true. But yo, we live. You're now listening to Volume 158 of the Bucket Up Podcast. Here with your boy Ty Doyle, aka DJ Buttersauce, aka Ty Lante, aka your mom call me daddy because I'm actually a daddy. And I'm here as always with the homie, the kid JB. Was good.
Yeah, man, touching on that, it is me, the kid JB. Could have been right last week, aka Mr. Told You So, not because I'm always right, but I tend to be right, and I told you so. I am Uncle Jesse Unlimited, and yes, I want to say welcome to the world, Mariana Doyle.
Mariana, bro.
Mariana, my bad.
Yeah. No, you're not the only one. I feel like I know you with the Mario, so I know that's where that came from.
Okay. Excuse me. I knew it was Mariana. I was gonna go Mary.
Oh.
And then I like stuttered and kind of just kept going. And now I'm explaining it anyway, so don't matter. But
no, you're good.
Welcome to the world. Uncle Jesse loves you. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
I can't wait to spoil you right now. You came through in a pandemic, so things are a little icy.
Yeah, hopefully it's the back end. We're hoping it's the back end.
Yeah. So we'll get to that. But yeah, man, I'm feeling good, man. Bucket Up Podcast, Volume 158. I'm excited because we back after a little short period. Obviously, you had some things going on, and congrats on that. But yeah, man, how you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Just adjusting to, I guess, parenting life. It's been very easy on me because I'm not the mom and I'm not breastfeeding and shit. So, I've been, the baby, they tell you to make sure you try to get some sleep because you're not going to be able to get sleep with the baby. And I think the first week was definitely rough in terms of, she was asleep mostly of the day, and then she'd wake up in the middle of the night and be wailing and shit. And then, that's when, we have to feed her and stuff. And to me, I feel like I'm coming out kind of easy on it because, Katie's breastfeeding. And so, if we were doing bottles, maybe we could like, interchange it. Like, oh, I got up last time, you get up this time. You know what I'm saying? And, but because Katie's breastfeeding, it's like, nah, she got to get up every time because I can't back up quarterback that, you know what I mean?
Which is extremely selfish of you, by the way.
Yeah, she's the Patty Mahomes of this titty milk shit, and I'm just, she ain't got a backup, you know what I'm saying? I can't Chad Henne in my way in there, you know what I mean, for a quarter or some shit.
Hopefully she gives her more than 9 points, man.
Yeah, and so it's definitely, we've been trying to figure out a schedule to where, it's kind of weird having a baby, bro. I don't think I'm sure people talk about it, but this like first like couple weeks, because you're like, man, she's like a newborn. We're like legit responsible for whether or not she's like alive right now. You know what I'm saying? Like when she gets older, the older she gets, the less responsible you are for them. Like you still responsible, but like, you know what I'm saying, if they get into trouble and something happens to them when they're like 17, people aren't like, wow, bad parent as much as an infant. If something happened, like it's legitimately all of our fault. You know what I'm saying?
I figured, see, again, I'm not a parent. I don't think I'm ready for that quite yet. But, again, shouts to you. I always imagined it like there has to be has there been a feeling like it's a science project and you're like, yo, when is this grade due or something? Like, not I'm saying you can't give her back, obviously, but it's like
it's just being very like attentive and aware and worried at all times. It's like, and like in the middle of the night, because it's so weird trying to sleep in when she's like in the bassinet, because you're like, I feel like we're supposed to be like watching her 24/7 to make sure she's not like choking up on her own spit up or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So like in the middle of the night when we can both sleep at the same time, it's like every little thing that you hear from her, if she like sniffles or something, you wake up like, yo, what was that? And you like looking at the thing like, you good, bro? And it's just like, that's been kind of weird. I think, I might be adjusting to that a little bit easier than Katie is, but it's still like, because the last thing we want to do is wake up to the baby like in pain, and we was like, dozing off, dreaming about dumb shit. But
you're like telling
gotta
her,
sleep.
you're telling her irrational stuff. You're like, I think the baby wants me to check the Suns score real quick. I don't. I think that's what she wants, yo. She
Like
wants
she
me to
crying. I
watch
think
it.
she want me to watch the game, bro. I don't.
Yeah, I don't want to be a bad dad. But I
Last
was gonna
last time we
say,
watched the game, she was quiet. So
yeah. I mean, I remember my mom telling me a story about like how I don't know how true it is. Like, the first night, if the baby's crying, you're supposed to at some point like let her sleep through the night or something.
I ain't heard. We didn't hear that one.
Yeah, well, I don't know, maybe my mom put us through some like crazy.
Your mom was like, let y'all know early on that y'all about to y'all about to be on your own a little. Y'all not about to be having me in this bitch every fucking minute, bro. Y'all about to sleep. Y'all gonna know.
So from day one, we were latchkey kids. Yeah,
that's funny. That's funny.
I always how do you feel, man? I always imagine being a parent. Like, are you a Power Ranger now that's morphed? You know what I'm saying? You got
no,
like,
I feel exactly. It's like there's nothing. Like there's really nothing that changed at all. Like not even like I don't know. You're the same. You're just responsible for an adult, or not. You're just responsible for something. You know what I mean? Which you are anyway. You're responsible for your life, and when you're in a marriage, you're not full on responsible for your partner. But like, you know what I'm saying? If something happens to Katie, like it'd be weird if I was just like, man, she better figure that out. You know, you know. And so like you already kind of have practice with that shit if you're in a relationship, and so it's just like you have another, and it is weird to be like. Look over and be like, yo, that's so weird. I got a daughter now. That's kind of crazy. But
do you think it's probably also, I was gonna say, the stage she's in because she's so young? Like,
oh yeah,
once she gets older, like shouts to baby Tegan and toddler Tegan. Like,
oh yeah,
Tegan's
a cute ass. I feel like Tegan is like shouts to Aubrey and Trav. Those are homies, and Tegan, baby Tegan TV. That's a kid. They got another kid, Aaliyah. But yeah, Tegan is fucking awesome. So I feel like, you know what I mean. I think I tweeted that like this is the stage right now where you trick yourself into having another baby because it's just like the baby's just cute. Like she's just here being cute. She's kind of simple. Like there's only like 4 things you got to do for her, and like when she cries, it's like it's one of 4 things. Either she has to like get her diaper changed, or she needs to get fed, or she needs to get held, or like, you know what I'm saying, maybe she's sick, but that's it. Like there's no nuance really to that shit. There's just like very simple answers, and she's just there being cute, and everybody's like wants to see her and be cute. But like, you know, once you get into them twos where like they're more kind of like aware of what's going on, but they're still like they're kids, so they're still just about them. They think the world revolves around them because it literally has for 2 fucking years. You know what I mean? And so like they get all selfish, and that's when you got to actually like, you know, get into work and put your parenting gloves on and like trying to actually like make sure you you don't raise an asshole.
You said what on the playground, bro?
You know, and then, you know, 3 to 5 is probably, you know, even wilder. And then I would have, again, I haven't gone through it yet, but I'm imagining that's how it goes. It's like they're cute as fuck to start, and then from 2 to 5 it kind of gets dicey where you're like they're soaking up everything you do, even the bad shit you do, and you're like, oh, why you take that? Like I didn't want you to take that. You know what I mean? And like they're taking it and showing it to everybody else and not really knowing what they're doing. And then once you kind of get into routine back, you probably had a kid and it's nice and going and like having fun with them until like they turn into like a teenager, and then it's like, you know, they ain't telling you anything going on with their lives, and so you don't fucking know, and then they actually low-key hate being around you, and then you miss the days when they, you know, thought that you were their hero and shit. And then it's pretty much rocky until they're an adult, you know what I mean? Unless you were a bad parent, and then it's just rocky after that.
What's funny is my niece, man, shouts to Emmy Jade. She's almost 2. She'll be 2 in May.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the world sees how much I love her and I promote her funny things. Yeah. But and I'll be real, she's growing up so fast, and she's at the point now where I get annoyed by some of the things she does, and I don't have to FaceTime her all the time. So like the other day, she's now at the stage where instead of mirroring, she's impersonating. And she she's been watching cartoons and stuff, and she saw a cowboy and a horse, so she was running around the house the other day just saying yeehaw. over and over
Yeah,
and
see, and
over.
you only was on FaceTime. Imagine the parents, bro.
Right. But what's funny is she wasn't really rocking with me at the time. They're like, yo, come say hi to Uncle Jesse. And she kept shaking her head. And I was like, you know what? It's mutual. I don't really want to talk to you right now.
Like, nah, fine. That's not what I call for anyway.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say yeehaw all day. So whatever, have fun.
All right, see.
So yeah, man. But shouts to you, man. I'm very excited for you guys. You know, like I was saying, in this world, sadly, there's a lot of bad people, but I'm at ease and, you know, happy that you guys are, you know, definitely without a doubt are going to make a good one. So we got one more to the good guys team. You know what I'm saying? But
appreciate that.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And I know the Buckets were asking about us. My parents were asking about you, and they're like, "Is he sleeping?" I was like, "Right now, I don't know."
Probably, like you've been trying to have to get into them naps when you can, you know.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. It's calling.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what this is gonna be like when I have to go back to work on Tuesday, but yeah, it's just gonna. That's when the roller coaster. Well, I guess when me and Katie both are back at work, that's when shit's gonna get rocky. But we hopefully, you know.
At work or just like working.
Working. I don't know. Hopefully I'm still working from home, but
okay, cool.
Katie's definitely gonna be until next semester. So
F Doug Ducey, by the way. Not to get political, but we here.
That's like, yo, everybody's not vaccinated, but we're gonna open up schools again. Thanks.
I hate people sometimes, man. But hey, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to some good people, like we were saying, getting to it. Hey, I've been growing mentally. I've been growing, medically. You know what I'm saying? So my foot surgery and everything. I'm recovering.
Yeah, I saw you. Yeah, shouts to you with the you jumping and shit and doing athletic, like you're fucking training for the Olympics out here.
You know what I'm saying? I'd be jumping. In my head, I'd be jumping to conclusions. So why not do it in real life? You know
there you go.
But yeah, man, I appreciate that. The recovery is going good. And, bought new sneakers, so I had to flex a little bit. And so with that, man, I have to say I had to delete all the apps of DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, Postmates. Dude, I hate, and this is not a flex moment. This is like a PSA, like one of those like tragic moments. And I ran some numbers, dude. This is not a flex by any means. But in less than 2 months, I racked up $800.
Yeah, that's not surprising to me.
In charges, bro.
Imagine how much, like, I can't imagine, like, you probably spend like a good like $5-6 grand on DoorDash since I've known you, probably.
Dude, it was very problematic to the point where I felt like icky, I felt like I was abusing a drug. So I ran the numbers, man. Yeah, that's almost 3 car payments I could have fucking cashed out on. You know what I'm saying? So I deleted, but shouts to me. I was like, there's no way I could do this shit cold turkey. There's just no way, right? But I did. I haven't, knocked on wood. I actually haven't fucked with shit in a whole month,
So what is your alternative? Are you cooking, or are you just cooking more?
I think this counts, man. So there is Amazon Prime Fresh, which you can get.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And because shouts to Turo, I never have my car. Mm-hmm. I've been grocery shopping, and I don't want to say meal prepping, but I've been just doing more of my mishmashing, and I've been buying sacks of potatoes and throwing that in the air fryer. Mm-hmm. I've been buying big things of watermelon, just chopping that up. I've been eating a bunch of apples, which, by the way, it's tangent. Red Delicious are Red Delicious. I got a lot of people coming at my neck trying to say that they taste like poverty.
That's what?
And it's like public
school system. We're gonna get into this, bro. Red Delicious. I don't want to say, maybe it's not the best apple. I don't know what people think is the best apple, but I feel like that should be hidden.
Honey Crisp. They say Honey Crisp.
Honey Crisp, yeah, they pretty good.
I feel like that's a seasonal thing, though.
The poverty apple is the Granny Smith apple. Like, don't, like, that shit all tart. It only works when you put it in a pie. And it's only working in a pie because you fucking putting loads of sugar and shit and fucking bread in it. Like, that's the poverty apple. And then Red Delicious, at the very least, is like dead in the middle. If you got to get a perfect one, though. That's the thing. You got to get a good. You got to make sure.
The lies they keep
the Red Delicious.
because the problem is they bring them out in the fucking room temperature cafeteria in the morning, and they stay there till the afternoon, and they're all mushy and warm. And motherfuckers are like, "Oh, the Red Delicious is gross." It's like, nah, the way they treat these Red Delicious is gross.
Yeah, exactly.
That offends me. But
Red Delicious are fire, bro. We're not going with the slander.
Thank you, man. That's why we the Buckethead boys, because he got me. So with that, you know what I'm saying? I've been eating that. I don't want to say like you said meal prepping. Nah, I've been cooking some wild random shit, which this is again
still better.
You're gonna laugh, but I'm fucking with Jello again.
Like instant or like already made? You just get them in the pack.
I mean, I'll make it. I'm making I'm making it. Okay. But it's got collagen in it, which has bones or whatever.
Yeah, it was so. You remember when a kid? So when I was a kid, my dad was like very like, I don't know if he was Nation of Islam or some shit, but he was very like, yeah, swine. That's like, that's the white devil food or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not supposed to be eating pork or anything like that. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I didn't really question it too much. But then I had like Jello or something or a Rice Krispie treat. And he's like, yeah, there was pork in that? And I'm like, nah, bro, this is Rice Krispies and pork. Like, I ain't taste no pork, but I like, if this pork is sweet, bro. Like, but yeah, you finding out like Jello got like fucking pork in it, or what wasn't it like? It got horse glue or some shit in the Rice Krispies. And it's like, why? Who was like, yo, I got these Rice Krispies and it's marshmallow. You know what look good? You know what tastes good in here? Little horse foot, bro.
And then I'm reading an article, and it's like I was like, is collagen good for you? And they were saying it is like a good protein source if you don't have, and other things, blah, blah, blah. Then this article was like sending me through the ropes because it was like, yeah, you could get the store brand Jello is a good protein source. Then it was like ... But the sugar and the additives outweigh the benefits. They're like, so you probably shouldn't eat it. And I'm like, the fuck they know, man. I'm just eating this shit.
Why you pouring the sugar in it?
Yeah. So shouts to lime Jello. I fucked with that, and I had like a whole bowl of it or whatever. And it was nice.
You put a little fruit in there, and then you can kind of finesse it. Say you're eating healthy because it's a fruit salad, even though that's just adding more sugar to it. You know what I mean?
They're like, why is your fruit salad dancing? I'm like, it's alive, yo.
You're just doing a Dougie, bro. That's what Jello was the first Dougie, bro. That's
what it was. That was the first viral dance, but no one gave it love. But anyway, so then I deleted all the apps, bro. Haven't done it since, so I'm proud of myself on that. I've been saving money. Shouts to Turo. I've been making money by renting my car out. I don't want to flex, but I haven't paid a car bill this year in all of 2021.
Oh shit! I'm about to hit you up. Yeah, I'm gonna wait till you tell me what them taxes hitting for first. But then because we might have to do that, get some extra income.
I got you. Yeah. And I don't even think honestly, because there's tax light, I'm figuring it out. Oh shit!
Yeah, definitely let me know because I feel like you might get hit up. But
nah, man, I'm swift with that shit. But anyway, so I deleted that shit, and then you were telling me about Crumbl Cookie Place, the Crumbl House or whatever the fuck it's called. I think it's just called Crumbl. They have amazing cookies, dude. They're just like these cake infested.
They're huge. They're like the size of like a baby face, bro. They're
right.
huge,
so bro. and so the reason why I just want to say shouts to them real quick is because I was like, nah, that shit is just as much as ordering on DoorDash. I was like, $25 for some cookies, them just as bad as ordering that shit. I hit them up on the DM and I was like, hey man, I told them the whole story and they laughed and they're like, here's a discount. So I ended up getting the discount.
Oh, okay.
And so I ended up being less than $20 for the 4 cookies.
See, I told you to just fucking do pickup, man. You do the order and then you.
I didn't have my car.
Oh, that's right. You
know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? So stay with me.
My bad. I'm like, my bad. I'm thinking like, yo, Joelle's there. She ain't got a car, bro. You
know what I'm saying? True. But this was like, I don't want to. This is my finesse. I gotta.
You ain't want to be like. That's funny. It's like I want cookies, but I don't want to ask my girl because then she'd be like, "What do you need my car for?" And I'm like, "Cookies."
Right. That's how I feel battle because I'm like, "Yo, hear me out. They have an Oreo cookie. Okay,
yeah, it's good. You can have I get 4. You can have cookies.
Yeah, come on. You think I'm not just gonna get it for one for you? Come on. So yeah, they came through with the cookie, man. And I gave them, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give them a little ranking for that love. And the 4 cookies that came through, which were cool, was they had.
Trust me, I know what the cookies are. I know what cookies they are every week because I'm fighting against getting them.
For sure. For the
Which
buckets,
ones you get?
I got the chocolate lava. I got the cinnamon swirl.
Oh, this was okay. This is last week. That's right.
Cinnamon swirl, cinnamon roll. I got the peanut butter bar, which has like a chocolate just icing on top.
Okay.
And then the fourth, which was a wild card, which was was the caramel popcorn.
Oh, okay. You didn't get the Reese's Pieces one?
I haven't had that. I haven't messed with that one yet.
That was the one. So yeah. So people don't know Crumbl, the genius of Crumbl. We need to get paid because we're doing an ad at this point. But like, so what they do is every week, Sunday night, if you follow them on Instagram, they drop a lineup of their cookies for the week. So they only do it that week, and it's all new cookies. And sometimes it's like, if you follow them long enough, obviously there's repeats of like, oh, I fucked with that cookie last time, and they brought that shit back. And then sometimes they drop whole new cookies, and you're like, shit. And so, so they like roll them out every Sunday, and I feel like that is genius ass marketing, because if they just because they made like 30 different cookies, they could easily just make all those cookies and sell them, and people buy whatever cookies they want or whatever, and they, because they're always going to end up having extra, so that's not the problem. But they generate interest every fucking week because they're just rolling them out like, oh, you can only get it for this week, and you don't have any idea when this cookie is going to be back. You know what I'm saying? And so like, you're like, it kind of builds, I don't know, not to be like marketing or whatever the fuck, but it builds like those call to action type shit. Like, it makes you feel like you like, I don't need a cookie this week, but you're like, I really like that cookie, and they got it this week, and if I don't get it, I might not see that bitch for like 3-4 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like, I think that, and I'm like, that shit's crazy, and I'm wondering, like, could other people do that shit? Like, could a pizza spot like make specialty pizzas and drop that shit every week, and then generate interest in that? I don't know, but that, I feel like that was a smart ass fucking idea, just being a regular bakery.
Not only is it smart because it works even for people. I didn't even think about that. I just like looked at it. It wasn't even like, oh, like I saw it coming. I just saw the ad.
Yeah.
And they caught me on a good day because I was having a bad day, and I was
like cookies probably.
I want some cookies. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they had a high percentage because I knew I had to order 4. And I was like, there's gonna be at least 1 or 2 out of 4 I'll like, and I'll justify my order.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then furthermore, I want to say shouts to them because then they commented on the ranking I gave, and then we've been talking via DM, and I asked, to get it into the universe. I've been talking to them about possible marketing opportunities with us going forward.
Wow, didn't even know, and I'm out here marketing for them. So we already done did it. We shouldn't have done it. Maybe I should edit this.
Nah, it's cool. Hey, that's how it works.
Did it for free.
Bring it into the ether. You know what I'm saying?
All right. But yeah, so yeah, that shit is cool. I do wonder, like, do you think there's anybody else who could do some shit like that, like fucking Mexican food or like cakes?
I guess grocery stores with their seasonal fruit.
Yeah, but that's just like, that's more just because but then when shit's in season, you can figure that out. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I just think I thought that was smart. Whoever came up with that, I don't know if it was the owner. I'm sure it was like the dude just wanted a bakery, and then somebody else came with the idea, and he ran with it, or she ran with it. That's how it usually works. Not to be slandering them before we get that promotion. Or they're just a genius, and they came up with the whole thing themselves. So shout out to them.
Yeah, and throw a pun in there. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Anyway, so shouts to me going cold turkey when it comes to the door apps. Because,
kinda. I think the Amazon Fresh is I would say it's halfway there, more than halfway.
Well, I'm not grocery shopping, so.
But you're still paying that fee, so.
No, actually, if you order a certain amount, it's over a free thing.
Oh shit! Okay, cool. You good? I mean, it's the only thing I would say is it's technically Whole Foods, so I'm sure you're spending like way more money than you need to be. But yeah,
possibly. But another hack.
Sure.
Hey, if you bring them back to scattered throughout, I don't know what episode it was, but I often talk about how I'm not good about picking avocados, or I pick out bad watermelons, or I'm just bad with the the ripeness of fruits. These motherfuckers are on point with it. I've been getting the best watermelons. I've been getting the best fucking avocados.
And fucking better be they charging you like $7 extra for the water. Better hit.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. Nah, it's like the 199 seedless watermelon shit
Oh,
that
okay, okay,
you get at Fry's or whatever. But
okay.
come back and it comes back light pink, right? They come back with the juicy red Jones that coming out of a cartoon and shit. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, shouts to Crumbl. I don't know. I don't
Shout out to
know.
Hello, shout out to Fresh. I mean,
Yeah. I was
no,
like,
really, not really shout out Amazon because they're
yeah,
evil
nah,
and
fuck
shit.
that. Nah,
But
yeah,
like
yeah.
I mean, we all hypocrites. We're all using that shit, but they still suck. That don't mean, you know what I'm saying? You could be both things.
Exactly. It's not mutually exclusive.
Yes.
So going to it's been a couple of weeks since the pod. I know obviously we haven't been at the movie theaters, but some movies have dropped, and I know we talked about the little things, wasn't about it. So I've been kind of messing around with some old movies and some documentaries and stuff that I knew I was looking forward to.
What you end up watching then?
So for those that know, I'm a big Biggie Smalls fan, and they had I have a story to tell, which was his documentary on Netflix. And yeah, so I watched that early in the week. I was really hyped because what I'm saying. I tell myself like, yo, if I get this done, I could treat myself to a Biggie documentary.
Hey,
So what I'm saying. So yeah, I watched it. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty clear, pretty linear and what's that? I was gonna say cutthroat, but pretty clear. Or no, what's that called? Pretty cut
concise?
through, consistent, pretty consistent, and
Okay.
just like pretty basic of like, all right, yeah, Biggie, like his story of coming up, and then what happened in Cali and stuff like that. They did reveal some information that like, whoa, wow, you didn't know that until this documentary. Some of it being like, I didn't know his grandma was still around or his
Oh,
mom. His
I
mom's
knew the
still around.
moms.
But apparently his mom is, he would go live with his grandma in Jamaica, and then that's when he would come back, and he would come back with new slang and new different types of word verbiage to throw in his raps and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But furthermore, he actually didn't want to make rap as much as he was into country music of all things.
What?
Yeah, he loved country music, and he loved singing show tunes,
That's crazy.
and he wanted to be a singer.
But he couldn't sing. I'm assuming.
He just could never make it to a point where he's singing. Like I don't know, they explain it better, but then yeah, it's just like obviously I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but like it does make you think like, wow, this is weird how like his death went down. It's weird how Tupac's death went down, and how they're both unsolved, right? At least for what we know. And was kind of cool with seeing like just the evolution of not only the hip hop and the music, just like the lifestyles, because there is behind the scene footage obviously of when Biggie had his last interviews and his last I guess captures and cameos in California where got killed. And what's funny is just like the verb, like the slang and use of like weed and stuff, because obviously Cali was like, I don't know when Cali became like recreationally legal, but it was medically legal since like the 70s or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so Biggie's out there and they're smoking, and he's just talking about like, yo, you should have seen what we smoked, bro. Like we put 250s in the joint, son. And like it's just funny to hear because he died at 24 years old,
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's like he's still, you just think of like a 20-year-old talking about smoking weed and stuff. And yeah,
It's so
nah,
weird because it's like you don't even think of him as being that young because if he was around, he feels so. I guess like it feels like he was been around forever, even though he was around very shortly. Same with Tupac, and because Tupac was what 28, 27 or something like
uh,
that.
yeah, he died in 97. Yeah, I think or 26 or something like that. I think it was
Yeah, like
26.
they both like very young, but they feel like they're older than they were even at the
Right.
time. You know what I
It
mean?
like
You hear these
transcended.
right, you hear these people and you're like, oh shit. But then now you're like, as we're all adults, we hear like these rappers, and obviously they're younger than we are now at this point in our lives, and we're just like, you think of them as being like, you're like, man, I can't believe these young people rapping, but it's like even the ones who are 30, you feel like they're young, but they're really not, you know?
Right. Um, so then the other crazy part was like how his mom was saying how she never listened to his music ever, and the only time she ever to this day has listened to his music was on the way home from his funeral.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
what the hell did she like? I feel like that's a wild time to like listen to it.
She listened to. She said she didn't name the songs, but like she said, I think she listened to the album full. So I was like trying to think back what was early, and I think "Juicy" was one of the first songs.
Okay, but it would be wild if she just listened to "Who Shot You." Like that seems like that would not be great.
Yeah, no, that was on his second album. So like I think she may have heard the first one, but then what's funny is like she was just saying like at that point she knew why, like because she knew why she loved her son, but she didn't understand why the streets loved
people,
yeah. So then she said when she heard the music, she's like, oh, I understand why they loved him, like
that's what's up. That's the thing that's so crazy about Biggie is that he literally only made 2 albums and is regarded like as greatest of all time off of 2 fucking albums. Like it's just crazy. That's how good he was. And you know what I mean? Like who the hell knows what would have happened if he didn't die, and if he would have made better albums, if he wouldn't have, like how people would have viewed his career and such. But it's just that shit is just crazy,
He had such a good and I really appreciated the way he because they have interviews that we've never seen before, and I really appreciated the way he elaborated on his music because they asked him about the name of the album, Ready to Die.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, nah, I wasn't on like I'm gonna kill myself shit. I just was figuring like if I was dead, like I would just be chilling. And I'm like, I can't argue with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's what's up.
And I was like, all right, cool. So yeah, it was fire, man. I would go back and watch it. It's only an hour plus. I know a documentary is not your thing, but it's more musically.
Yeah, that's something I would probably watch more so than like murder docs. That's like I feel like every fucking 3 days there's a new one on Netflix. So
yeah, and then so that was good. And then I was watching some old stuff just to kind of flesh out Netflix. I always feel like I got to justify watching shit when my bill comes out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, y'all took my shit. Watch me use y'all shit. So Dark Knight is on Netflix now, so I've been messing around with that. And then Training Day is on there. And what's funny is Training Day, at first, my first time watching it, I wasn't really a big fan. It definitely gets better as you watch it more times. But I like when the dude's high on PCP and he said, life is just about balancing your laughs and your cries.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I
was like, all right, that's real. So shouts to that, bro. Yeah. And then I give this is a actual review, and I'll give it a score just because it's funny that I watched it. Was I was a big fan of Road Trip with Tom Green, like in the first one.
Yeah, I fucked with that one. That's the one where they're at the bus and
he sends the sex tape by accident, so they try to track down the sex tape.
That's a wild premise. That's a wild ass plot, bro.
Right, bro. Like there's a lot of steps you got to take to fuck that up, right?
Didn't he like mail it to her, right?
Right. He was like he gave the dumb friend like, yo, can you drop this off at the mailbox? He's like, oh yeah, I just dropped off the second. And they're like, you dropped the one that was right next to the other one. Like, how could you do that? It's like that's an obvious mistake,
Yeah. It's like what the hell? And it's funny. Like new age version of that is like you sent the text by mistake, and you can't really go across the damn country to get that shit back.
Yeah, it's like Stream Trip or like Digital Trip or something.
They gotta go fuck up servers or some shit.
So that movie came out, and I don't even know. It had to be early 2000s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have, I guess. I don't know if it's the same creators of American Pie, but they have like that same like Van Wilder, like, oh, we're gonna make like a bunch of these now, like C-list Netflix type. And I was like, you know what, why not? And they have one called Road Trip Beer Pong, and it's about them going. It's the kid that hooks up with, or it's the kid that like gets the giant boner, and he's like kind of the nerd and stuff. He's in the first one. He's in that movie, The New Guy or whatever.
Yeah, I know. I think his name's like DJ something.
Sure.
DJ Quick is not DJ Quick. That's
DJ Quick.
But his name is DJ something.
Okay, so if then in this one he's like giving the tour like Tom Green was in the first one. So like it's from the idea of like the first one of like telling a story of like, you know, what went on. So then yeah, like long story short, these like two dudes, like one dude's about to get failed out of college and he needs to pay back his rent. So they find like it's kind of like You Got Served. They get like a video sent to them, which like there's a challenge to a beer pong tournament. So they just like do a road trip to the beer pong tournament and like along the way kind of practice at spots.
Okay, so what's the
So 2 out of 5 bucket hats.
Yeah, it didn't sound like it was great.
Yeah, it was not good, but it was shouts to me to like watch that.
Shouts to you. Shouts to you. Pat yourself on the back for sitting through a bad movie.
You know what I'm saying?
I had a movie that I watched that just dropped. I don't know if I watched something in the last 3 weeks. Everything's a fucking blur to me. But yesterday I threw on Coming to America, which is just it's so weird because it sounds like it's the first one, but it's the one with the 2 in the middle, and it's like I don't think they thought that one through as much because it's like it looks cool on paper, but when you say it out loud, it's not like you're just saying it's the first movie over again, which it's. I mean, I guess that makes some sense because it's a classic, so it might be that's what they wanted to do, but I don't know. But yeah, I threw it on. I have very low expectations just because it's like it's just such a different time from when that movie came out at first, and it's a classic, and it's like even if they had to drop that movie like 2 or 3 years, 4 years later, when it was still like hot and shit, you know what I mean, and a classic, and they just kind of went to build on that would be one thing, but dropping that shit like fucking 30 years later, 40 almost, right?
Right, where like most of the actors that are in it now weren't even alive when the first one came out.
Yeah. So like, dropping it now, it's like, how can you can't really, it's hard to really expect the movie to be like great. And so, watching it, and I feel like if you go in with a low expectation, you can come out and be like, yeah, this movie was cool, like it was straight. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna. I don't think anybody's going in with their thinking that Eddie Murphy's about to win an Oscar or anything like that. But they they're hoping that it's funny. I think there's some.
This is the beauty. That's the beauty. I will say real quick. That's the beauty of the not having to go to the theater.
Yeah,
I feel like the expectations are a little lowered for all these movies because it's like, if I get dressed and I go to this theater, like it better be good. But if it's on the app, I'm like, all right, I'll give you some slack,
Exactly. So yeah, I think it's so if you already got Amazon Prime, you're getting it for free anyway. So just go watch it. I would say if you fuck with Eddie Murphy and you wanted a dose of nostalgia or whatever, especially if you're like older and that's like one of your favorites, like I'm sure it's cool. There's definitely some stupid shit in there. Like at one point they had a dude out running a lion, so that's not great. You know what I mean? There's definitely some jokes that like just didn't land, but I'll give it a solid like 3 out of 5. Like it's whatever. It's a very, very whatever movie, I would say. Not gonna make you mad, but you're not gonna be like, oh my god, that was great,
Yeah, I don't know if a 3 out of 5 is solid, but I feel
it's 60. I mean, it's 60%. That's passing, right?
Yeah, it's a solid 3. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, like I said, 3 out of 5 on a streaming is different than a 3 out of 5 at the theater.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. I probably would have saw it in theaters depending on what was going on. Probably not because I just had a baby. So
I need to see. There's some movies that are classics that like I'm heard or like classics. I just never seen. I've never seen Trading Places.
I don't think I've seen that one. What's that one?
It's Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. Where
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, he's Dan Aykroyd is like rich and Eddie Murphy's poor. And then trade places.
I don't think of that as a classic. I'm thinking of more like fucking
Life.
Life. What's it called? Beverly Hills Cop. Was it both? Was it? I'm
Golden Child. That shit was fire.
I'm blanking on one of them. Is it Harlem Nights?
I liked I've actually never seen Coming to America, the first one.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, see what happens, folks.
Okay. I mean, it happens, Yeah, and I saw it like when I was like younger, so I hadn't watched it like very recently, which I probably should have before I watched this, but it'd be what it be. You know what I'm saying?
Is that where he stands in the first one? He stands on the balcony in New York, and he's like, Hello,
Yeah,
America. He's like, fuck
yeah,
you. He's like,
like
yes,
fuck you, you too. Yeah, that's where it's from. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm trying to look up all the classic Eddie Murphy joints. Oh yeah, Boomerang. Have you seen Boomerang?
No.
You wasn't fucking with Eddie Murphy, bro. Dr. Doolittle. I feel like you might have
Yeah.
saw that because we were younger, right?
I don't think that's a classic though.
And no, it's not. Nutty
Okay.
Professor, also not a classic, but
I've seen it. Are we doing all Eddie Murphy movies?
I'm just learning. I'm trying to figure out which Eddie Murphy movies you hadn't seen. You probably didn't see the early ones, and those are the ones people hold in higher regards, like Harlem
Those
Nights.
are, I saw Beverly
And
Hills Cop. I saw Golden Child. I saw uh yeah. What's the one with
Blow Nash, bro. That's a class.
I don't know. Yeah, I know the song though. That's
Beverly Hills Cop. That's Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
That's so damn 80s, bro. So
I confuse it with Knight Rider.
Yeah.
That's not Knight Rider.
A little bit, but it don't sound. I mean, they all got the 80 tones in it. But yeah, so yeah, I would say check it out if you really want to. I'm sure if you were planning on it, you probably already did. But if you're like Jesse and you never seen Coming to America, the first one, like you don't have to go out your way to go see it, bro.
The first one's called like Coming One America. How to act like
I will say the main actor from this, like the dude who plays his son, because that's like part of the plot, is like he had a kid with a girl back in the 80s, and it finds out he had a son, and now he's the king, and so he's trying to make this son the prince and shit, and like that's the big plot point of it. But the guy who plays his son is from Sorry for Bothering You, or Sorry to Bother You. I don't know if you remember that movie with Lakeith Stanfield.
And Don't Tell Me.
It's Army Hammer was in that bitch, and it's weird now because I'm pretty sure he was eating or turning people into horses or some shit in the movie, and now he's like out here getting in trouble because apparently he like might dabble in cannibalism or some shit, or I don't even know what's going on with that. I heard about that Army Hammer shit, and I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and ignore whatever the hell is going on with that. But yeah,
fake news.
Yeah, but like it's the other dude. It's the dude who's Lakeith Stanfield's friend, and Sorry to Bother You. And they have that scene where they're just like, "Yeah, I hope you have a good day. Like you smell nice too." You know what I mean? When they're like saying that to each other, but like saying it really like aggressive, but they're saying compliments. I don't know if you ever seen that scene.
I haven't seen that movie.
Oh, okay. It's a good movie.
Yeah,
it's it gets weird as shit at the end, but it's a message about like corporate exploitation and shit.
Danny Glover's in it. That's what I was trying to.
Oh, and Sorry to Bother You?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But yeah. So the guy who's opposite Lakeith Stanfield, who plays his best friend, is the dude who plays the prince, and I feel like he's a decent actor. He should be in more shit. So get him in more shit that isn't Coming to America on Amazon Prime. Like I want him. He don't have to get the Lakeith Stanfield treatment where he's like in every fucking thing, but like give him like 1/5 of the Lakeith Stanfield treatment and get him in a decent amount of things. But yeah, those are my movie reviews. So we can move on. I know we're kind of getting long on the pod. We can move on to White People Wilding, bro.
Yeah, they are, man. It depends on which wilding you're speaking of, because
I'm speaking of. Oh yeah, there's two things that seem like they tied together, but
so I want to set the record straight, bro. There's this idea of cancel culture. Oh man, we can't put up with we can't have fun no more type shit. There's a difference. The Dr. Seuss scandal, I read more up into it.
If you read more than like a minute into it, you're like, oh, this isn't really cancel culture. But yeah, go ahead.
It's themselves, bro. Dr. Seuss, his own company, is owned by this like estate, because Dr. Seuss himself has been washed for a while. You know what I'm saying?
He's been dead, yeah.
Yeah.
Washed is wild.
I mean, he's a little racist, anti-Semitic, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they acknowledge that, and they're like, okay, we can't get rid of all his body of work. But
nobody asked for them to do that, right?
No. So they're dialing him back. some of the Dr. Seuss books that have some pretty bad imagery in there after you go
Yeah.
back and read those books, including they have a Chinese guy with his face yellow, his eyes
Mhm.
slanted, and the
Yeah.
caption reading a Chinaman eating with sticks.
Yeah.
Not something where kids should read and go, Mommy, is that a Chinaman?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
that is the slippery slope that exists, and it's okay. So, with that being said, Dr. Seuss is like, yo, hey, we're sending out some books. We're gonna stop sending out some books that were a little wild, and they're not even those popular
Yeah, they
new
not the
ones.
bangers, bro. They not
Yeah,
the
they
hits.
not Are You
You
My
keep
Mother? They're not Green Eggs and Ham. They're not
Yeah, they're not.
Lorax.
It's not the yeah, bro. It's fucking. It's shit that nobody was reading any fucking way, and it's just funny because people here like I don't know people obviously not we get into politics, we don't, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, but it's like I feel like a certain side of the aisle likes to lean in and kind of stoke this shit up to make it way more than it is. And they're like, oh, they're trying to like what's racist about green eggs and ham, you know what I mean? Like what's so fucking like why we gotta cancel everything? But it's like, bro, that's not what's happening. Nobody's canceling green eggs and ham. That's why it felt like this shit was coming out of left field, because usually when people start to cancel shit, I at least see like people on the internet getting mad about it first before the company starts being like, yeah, let's take this shit away. But this stuff, like this Dr. Seuss thing, was just like, they were like, yeah, we literally, educators and teachers and parents who read these books have been telling us for years about this stuff. So we decided not to publish these. And people were getting upset. Like people were legit talking about, yeah, get Dr. Seuss out of here. I don't want this. I don't want Cat in the Hat ever. I'm fucking burning the Cat in the Hat DVD with fucking Michael Myers in it. Fuck that shit. No, I feel like this is all just like shit to get people riled up, because I feel like uh, the thing that riles up, a certain segment of people is this thing where they think that the world is turning into some place where they can't say or do anything, and people are going wild and like ready to cancel every fucking thing. And it's like, no, bro, like they're literally just getting rid of 6 books nobody read because they had racist shit in it. Like nobody's getting rid of the other books. People have not been out here crying and clamoring for it. And it's just like that's it. That's like there's nothing wild about this, but other people are, stoking it. I think you had like some senator reading Green Eggs and Ham on his fucking Twitter account. Like is that but it's like, what does that even do, bro? We're talking about like we got so many problems. Like we're in the middle of a pandemic. We got like people poor lining up for fucking like shelters and for food and shit out, and fucking people were sharing fucking GoFundMe every 3 minutes to fucking be able to afford to pay their health bills and shit. And instead of you talking about those shits that are like real problems, you and this bitch reading Green Eggs and Ham as an elected official because that is something that matters. Like that's not even something you could even handle. Like what are you even like? They bringing up shit like, oh, these people are getting mad and like not letting people do anything. Cancel culture, it's like terrible. But it's like, what policy thing can you even come up with to combat that? Nothing. So why the fuck are you bringing it up? Like, why are y'all making this a main point?
Yo.
Like, why are y'all even making this a fucking point when like there's nothing you could even do about it? You could just say you're not for it, and that's your main thing as a politician. Like that doesn't even make fucking sense to me.
Like these are coming from the same people that are like, hey, if you don't like it, start your own company. It's like, yo, Dr. Seuss themselves are running this. They're doing this themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
This is no difference than if an artist was like, hey, I'm releasing a censored CD because
exactly
some of my songs are a little grimy and y'all didn't even bang with those, Like,
exactly. Or they took some shit off. Nobody would care, bro.
And you know why? Hey, because also that's not a whataboutism. This is a double standard that I try to keep consistent. Is like because just that, Ty. What if? Because where we see reverse of cancel culture is they kill old comedians for old jokes they had back in the day, right?
Right.
So what if these people don't do housekeeping and they don't clean up their act, and then somebody comes back and goes, "Whoa, what about this thing 10 years ago? You're racist, you're sexist." But if they do it in the forefront, they're like, "Yo, we're cleaning our act."
Yeah, nobody cares.
Right. But then they're gonna be like, "Oh wow, cancel culture got you, huh?" It's like, no, because I'd rather do it up front than y'all get me on the back end.
Yeah, or yeah, if you just be like, yeah, and again, I get part of it, bro. Like we can't, like it's impossible. Like I think that like this thing where we're trying to like I'm more on the side of usually shit that gets canceled kind of deserves it, but I get where it's like looking back into the past to be like, oh, this shit is terrible. Like you're terrible for doing this, but it's like going off the sensibilities that it was back then, and that person grew and they're different. And it's like the reason why I think I understand why we should like settle down on that is because like you're acting like something you do right now might not be seen as bad in the future because we don't know. Like something we're doing that we think is completely fine right now, 10, 15 years from now, we're gonna find out that shit was fucked up, and we're gonna completely understand why it's fucked up. But it's that don't really mean that like you're still a fucked up person. Like you just learn like fucking society evolved. That's all that is. You know what I mean?
And
So
it's perfect, and it's perfectly fine for people to want to, and that's the part that it's disrespectful to assume that like because somebody's trying to do this in preface of that as like, oh, an outside force
exactly
made you do
and
this.
the difference with this is books that you're reading to children now. Like it's one thing if you're like, yo, they made this thing way back when and it was fucking racist in the fucking 50s. Like, duh, everything was racist in the 50s. It's the 50s. But like they not, you know what I'm saying? If you leave it in the 50s, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to bring it up and talk about it like that. You know what I'm saying? But if you still letting kids read the racist shit, like then yeah, get it out of here. Like that's different. You know what I mean?
Fam, they show, and I know you don't even care because you don't even with that movie that much, but I rock with it on Christmas when they do the 24-hour Christmas story shit.
Mm-hmm.
If 10, 15 years from now they cut out the scene where he gets his eyes shot out, I'm okay with it. I'm not gonna be like, yo, they're ruining it. Like,
yeah.
you know, if I find out, like, yeah, so it led to a bunch of kids trying to reenact the scene and it got dangerous. So I've been like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm cool. Like, it doesn't take away from like, yeah.
Right. It's not that, and that's the thing. It's like when if the harm outweighs, like, because it's like, what are you even getting out? Like, people, these grown-ups who are crying about Dr. Seuss, like, what are you even, like, you were reading these books, one, you weren't, and two, it's like, them being around doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It's not bringing that much good to as much harm that it's causing, like, sharing that with kids. And, like, and again, it's not the bangers. It's not Cat in the Hat. It's not Green Eggs and Ham that actually teach kids shit. It's something, you know what I'm saying? It's shit that they pulled on their own. But it, you know,
right. And that's yeah.
This all goes too because like the other thing they were talking about was the Mr. Potato Head thing. And one, I do think it's funny because I don't even think, like, again, I hadn't heard anybody complain about this until the other side was saying, like, why are y'all trying to cancel this? And I'm like, we are? Like, we trying to,
it's a fucking potato. Dude.
I'm like, Mr. Potato Head isn't already canceled for, like, just being irrelevant, bro?
I thought y'all went gluten-free or some shit.
And that's why my conspiracy theory is that this was just marketing, bro. This was all a marketing plan. Hasbro, like, because who the fuck, you can't tell me kids are still playing with Mr. Potato Head, bro. You got a niece. Does she got a Mr. Potato Head?
She does not.
Exactly. Like, people are not playing. People ain't talk about Mr. Potato Head since fucking Toy Story 1, bro. There's no way.
She has an Elmo, and she doesn't give a fuck if Elmo is a guy or a girl. I'll tell
exactly. And it's just like, one, people are like, why can't it be Mr. or Mrs.? Who cares? But and on the same token, it's a potato, bro. It's a fucking potato toy. Why does it need to have a Mr. or Mrs. any fucking way to begin with? But then also, who cares? It's a fucking toy potato, bro.
Like, who cares if the kid, as long as the kid's not making the potato do Nazi salutes and saying all lives matter. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
nobody cares about this.
Right, bro. But then, so reverse to that, you know, I don't like whataboutisms, and I don't like, you know, people trying to deflect arguments. I think that when somebody then can neglect even giving energy to something, like, I don't care about, similar to like the what's that movie, Space Jam, like, I don't think Looney Tunes is popping, so I don't really have that much of an opinion about Space Jam.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then with Mr. Potato Head, like, I don't think he's popping like that. So like,
who cares?
Who cares?
They can change it to Mr. fucking Broccoli Head. They can change it just broccoli, and with the pronouns he, she, they. It doesn't fucking matter,
son. Like, and all I hear in this, you know, and unfortunately, this world puts shit in a vacuum, and I feel like some people be putting it in the vacuum themselves. And all I hear, and shouts to you because you're a parent now, but I'm not. But all I hear from these parents that fucking fight against this just sounds like, oh, I gotta have a conversation with my kid. Oh, God
Yeah.
forbid you gotta talk to your fucking kid,
Like,
you know?
like you're gonna like I got some bad news for you, dog. Like you're gonna have to, at some point you have to talk to your kids, or they're gonna talk to you about this shit. Like it's just like
Stop asking the toy to do the teaching for you.
it doesn't make no damn sense, man.
Like, son, if your kid goes to the potato's dick the first time he plays with the toy, it's not the toy's issue.
Yeah, what
what
is the question that your kid has to ask you by them just saying potato head? What's the question there? Hey, Dad, how come the potato isn't a person anymore? Like, how come the potato isn't a miss? They don't give a shit, bro. It's a kid. Dude. Like, it's a fucking like I'm just getting mad because it's a fucking potato toy.
Yo, did he know? Like, yeah, son. When I had action figures, my fucking Batman was Hulk Hogan to me in my head. Like, you think I care what the toy was?
Kids give a shit, bro. It does not matter. And I get it. You could say, well, then it doesn't matter. Why would you need to change it? Like, you know, honestly, you probably part of you is right. It don't matter so much to the point that like they didn't need to change it, but also it doesn't matter if they change it because it just doesn't fucking matter. You shouldn't care either way. It's their toy. If they want to change it to wherever the fuck they want to change it because they thought that it might do better with marketing now, which I doubt it, then that's what the fuck they decided to do. Who gives a shit if you're keeping the nuclear family of fucking potato heads together? That's not who cares, you know?
Bro, you're at the restaurant and little Jimmy's like, Dad, can I play the video game up there? And you say, yeah, what is it, 50 cents? It's a quarter? All right. He runs up. You go, well, let me see the score. Let me see what my little Jimmy's doing. You go, hold up. This is a Mrs. Pac-Man? No, we can't.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not Mr. or Mrs. Pac-Man. It's just Pac-Man.
Yeah, it's just Pac-Man. Yo, give me my quarterback. In fact, what's the
matter? Oh no, they changed it to Pac Person. Like
yeah,
that's terrible. You shouldn't play this game because they changed it to. Who cares, bro? It's a fucking dude with a head munching things. Like it's all dumb. Who fucking cares?
What's next? They're gonna say whack-a-mole's too offensive. It's gonna be like shake a hand mole, and you just pop up and give it daps.
Like I get that you're railing that these things are like absurd that people care about it, but like you caring about them changing it is also absurd. Like it's all absurd. Like and it's like this is not what people actually care about. Even the people who usually cancel stuff. They're like actually going after the bigger things and like they're distracting you by this stuff, and then you get people on Facebook talking about like what's next? You can't say black coffee, you can't order a brownie. It's like, yo, are y'all this can't be y'all can't be serious, man.
It's like this person has a horrible diet. They're just black coffee and brownie.
It's like, yo, that's right. Black people. Yeah, they're not complaining about like actual discrimination and worrying about getting shot and stuff. They care about whether or not, you know, you could say black coffee or this and that. And it's like, yeah, there's small shit people care about for sure, but it's like it ain't that big a deal in the scheme of things, like, whether you change it or not. Like with the Aunt Jemima thing, it's like Aunt Jemima, yeah, that shit used to be racist, bro. Like there's no disputing it used to be racist. And like people might have brought that up and they're like, wow, I didn't know that it was racist. But if they'd have kept it Aunt Jemima, like people would have been fine. But like them changing it also does not matter. But know why? Because it's just fucking syrup. It's syrup. Who cares that they changed it? Like, why are you getting mad either or on that? I don't understand. That's the thing I don't understand on it. People getting themselves worked up about things that do not matter in the grand scheme of things.
So that's the part where I challenge, or I have a hard time like speaking my like, you know, arguments, because then people kind of turn into a whataboutism. Mm-hmm. They try to say like, no, well, let's stick on topic. And I'm like, no, I think it's important to say like, because the damage that it does is people that often go, well, I'm not political. I don't get involved in politics, but I know I'm not a liberal because I don't care about, Mr. Potato Head. And I'm like, dude, see, they got you then, because that's not as a liberal, I don't care about that either.
Oh, and that's the thing that's funny. Is like, if you look at who's talking about it, who's the people who's talking about it? It's not liberals, bro.
Right.
Those aren't like the people who's like outraged about this shit are not the liberals. It's the other side, bro. And it's like all the shit that's bad about our lives collectively in this country that could be better. And everybody knows it on every side, knows that shit could be better, regardless of however the fuck they think that it can be. It's like, you know that this is not a pertinent issue. It's just not. It doesn't matter.
But they get hustled. And bro, that's the part that pisses me off, because then they say shit like, with their chest, they'll be like, I don't get political. I'm like, yeah, but dude, there's some people that are trying to like reduce voting rights, and they're like, yeah, I don't watch the news and stuff, but yo, Mr.
Yeah,
Potato
that
Head,
shit.
the liberals are pussies. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
okay.
that's the thing is they just like, and obviously it's a reflection of our society that like people, they associate that. But and I will say there are some people, there's definitely liberals that be out here crying about shit that does not matter, and it's like, and those people get made fun of by liberals too on the left.
Yeah.
Like it's like, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody cares about that. Like we're kind of like there was a certain segment in our history where we're kind of giving a little bit too much credence to like, I would say like was it identity politics?
Right.
Like oh, this person's the first gay person to do this and the first like colored person to do that, but it's like we kind of, people were like, one, that wasn't as hot, like most people did not care about that stuff as they made it out to be, but people for sure are over that shit now. Like nobody gives a shit that Condoleezza Rice was the first like black Secretary of State, because it's like Condoleezza Rice was kind of trash, bro. Just rocking with Bush. Like people don't care about that shit as much. You know what I'm saying?
Or it was like, who was the musician Kamala Harris hooked up with or something?
I don't remember. She was getting out. She was messing with some like A-listers though. Shouts to her.
I ain't mad at you.
And nah, hell nah. She was on her Lori Harvey, which is cool.
And shouts to Doug. She settled down with a Jew, and he's like, "Hey, baby, hey, this relationship's about you, and I love it." You know what I'm saying?
Hey. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, again,
shouts to Doug, bro.
I get it in some ways of people being like, y'all, like the way that the people are fed it is like people on the left are always complaining about shit that like don't matter, and it's like, who cares about that in the world? But it's like they feeding y'all that shit to make y'all you're the ones who's getting upset about these little trivial things that really don't matter. And like on the left, people are just like, hey, we kind of want healthcare. Like, you know what I mean? Like we want, hey, look, we want to make sure motherfuckers can vote. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the shit that people actually care about. And there's other shit on the periphery is like the only thing that like, Fox News is feeding people. Like that's the shit. I mean, it's annoying, but and then it gets around on Facebook and people get the wrong idea and they think they're canceling Green Eggs and Ham, and it's not at all what's the fuck happening. But nobody ever looks deeper into shit. They just see what they see on the internet and they go, oh wow, that's what we're doing now. We're canceling shit. Instead of it looked like I heard it, I heard about it the other day and I was like, what? We're doing what? Like people canceling these things. And I'm like, I Googled it and it took me 5 minutes to find out that that's not at all what was going on. It wasn't some public outcry of people mad about something like this shit and like the fucking company caving in. Like, no, it was very simple and not that big a fucking deal. But again, that's what they get you riled up about shit that don't matter because it distracts from that they aren't actually doing shit. That's it. It's just a distraction. So you'd be like, wow, like, people are being like, wow, look how fucking pussy these liberals are, instead of being like, hey, this is what I'm doing to make your lives better. Simple.
Dude, I know, dude, and that's the reverse, like I said, whataboutism. But anyway, that's why I feel like I have a level-headed on that shit. Mm-hmm. And, what I'm saying? That's why it's just like, hey, people do what they do, and I love social distancing well beyond a medical reason. You know what I'm saying? But with that, sure. I think we finally arrived. Burn. Been a couple of weeks, so hey man, I think Ty's gonna be proud of me. This is gonna be like a little, even though my music
was it just Drake? Was it Drake? Everybody
was
Drake.
Yeah, it was Drake.
That's like everything. Like people who you never see talk about music. As soon as Drake drop, it's like, oh man, this new Drake, and it's like, hey, I get it, it's Drake. Like everybody's listening, but it's like I can't. It's hard for me to be like, oh, I'm gonna take not you, because I know you still listen to music, but it's like people who never talk about music, and it's like I don't really care about your opinion on this because it's like you obviously only listen to like ultra super popular people, which is like that's fine, but like you didn't have to do that,
Yeah. Well, I was listening to. I went back and I was like trying to think of like albums and then of artists that I haven't listened to, and I'm sure you know more about it, but like I haven't heard from Wiz in a while. And I remember I used to like push his albums a lot. But I was going back and listening to the old, and I forgot how
Cushion OJ is so good, bro.
That, but also, dude, like shouts, I know we have our jokes about Puffy and the world has their jokes about Puffy, but you know, in his artist days, man, I really liked Bad Boy Family, and
Yeah.
No Way Out was a fire album, dude.
Mm.
So there's some songs on that, and then yeah, I would say that the three Drake songs that dropped, they fit perfectly in Bob Slops and Bangers. So I mean, I'll let you for that, but those
No,
three, I think.
we could just talk about it because I wasn't gonna use those because they're just
Oh,
so everybody know they're ubiquitous, you know.
but I'm just like, you know what, like, uh, kind of touching on the Mr. Potato Head thing. Like, I respect Drake because like he is what he kind of promotes, right? Like he's flashy. He's like, Mr. R&B, still your girl, and then
He's
he's
very
also, you
Drake
know,
is an enigma because he's very popular because I think I guess there's some sincerity to it, but it's like Drake is famous and but he's not cool. Like he's kind of like a Herb. Like he kind of feels like he's a fan too of other people. Like he doesn't seem,
right.
even
So
though he's like the most popular rapper right now, it like people have no problem making fun of him. There's not like this untouchable coolness with Drake where like there is with where like when Jay-Z was in his heyday or Biggie Smalls, like there was like people wanted to be around them. But I'm sure people want to be around Drake, but there's a decent amount of people who are just like, Drake seems like he's kind of like, I can see Drake being corny, which is like cool. And it's
yeah,
like, and people are kind of cool with it, but it's like kind of funny that that's
but that's what I'm
who the
saying.
number
So,
one rapper in the world is right now.
and I think that's what that comes with the territory. So I think it's okay. Like, I don't think you can. I think you can acknowledge things without having to embody it. So like, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I think the jokes that Drake gets are okay. Like, it's okay for a large amount of people to be like, "Oh, he sucks." It's like, okay, that's fine.
Mhm.
There's a body of people to say he's corny. Like, it's okay.
But
He
the
doesn't
thing
have to
about it,
subscribe to it.
oh yeah, for sure. But it's never like, because I think we do a thing where things get popular, and that's when people kind of hate it the most. Like the most popular things, people usually actually hate. Like and I'm not saying this is the same, obviously, but like Black Eyed Peas, super popular, but everybody says they hated it. Or Nickelback, super popular, but everybody says they hate it. Pitbull, super popular, but everybody says that they hate that shit. Now, obviously, Drake is actually good, and most people are gonna say he's good, but other people are like, there's hate, but I don't think he hasn't crossed over to the line where like people feel like they're ashamed to listen to him, which I don't think he'll ever get to that. But like, I think it's kind of hard to be that popular and not have people at some point say that they regret listening to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Like,
I'm okay with people being like, "Oh, well, he got rich off Degrassi and stuff." And it's like, yeah, that's fine. I also saw him perform the mixtape in like his ugly Freddy Krueger sweater and tore his ACL on stage. And I
I take
witnessed that.
he had
And
another one, which is wild. But yeah,
that was the first time he did. Yeah, he tore his ACL the first time was on stage in Jersey.
it
And I
just
saw that shit and I was like, yo, this dude's like cool and he's real. And then he became like, the mogul that
big,
he is.
yeah.
And I'm
It's
like,
just crazy
yo,
he's tearing his ACL like he plays fucking linebacker. I don't understand what's going on with this man's body.
yeah, nah, it was crazy seeing it drop like that. But then yeah, nah, so good song, man. I know a lot of people like the
so
Lemon Pepper freestyle.
yeah, that's probably my favorite
I like
because that's my favorite Drake of like him just bars on bars on bars. He was rapping for like 4 straight minutes. So, and obviously him and Rick Ross are they got legendary combos. So it's always good to hear those two on the track. But what was your favorite?
I liked What's Next because I feel
Yeah.
like you said so you that's funny because you said I think that what you said that Lemon Pepper was like cliche or not cliche but like typical Drake. I actually thought What's Next was because it
They all
was,
are.
yeah, they all are, but I think this one speaks to him is like he's like just like he's like it. I caught myself dancing to the song cleaning the kitchen and I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, this
yeah,
is
yeah.
Drake, you know what I'm saying? Like
It's like
it's
not. It's just like nonstop. It's like that's a Drake. Like you like that one because that's more like hyphy in the club Drake.
yeah.
And like I like that Drake. That's like my second favorite Drake. And then my third favorite is like sing song you Drake. I like all the Drakes. It's just I like the one where it's just more bars, bars, and bars because he could do that. You know what I mean? And so, but no, I like that one. The second one, well, I'm blanking on the name of it. The one with Lil Baby.
Wants and needs.
Wants and needs, like that one's good, but it's mostly because Baby's like flaming, and like, but like I don't, again, Baby doesn't really get on too many songs and not like kill the feature. So You know what I'm saying? I think I saw a tweet. It was like the dude said, "I'm laughing that Baby got absolutely destroyed, or Drake got absolutely destroyed by Lil Baby on the one song, and then decided to take it out on Rick Ross the next song."
Yeah, but
like, yeah,
it came full circle though, because remember, Baby got hot off of that Drake feature in
yeah.
Yes
And
Indeed or whatever.
I don't think anybody would have seen Lil Baby's like career arc going from wham, bitch, I'm the baby to like where he is now, where he's like widely seen as one of the better rappers and like right now. And I mean, he just got better. I think it was a crazy story of like Young Thug told him to rap, and he had never really like thought about it or like rap really like that before. Probably like a year before he ended up blowing up or some shit like that. And so like he was literally, it's like when they tell you like, oh, you know how you're watching the NBA game and they're like, Joel Embiid is weird because he didn't play basketball until he was 17 and fucking and whatever. I don't want to say he's from a random African country because I just can't think of what it was right now. I don't think he's from Nigeria, but I know he's from Africa, maybe Senegal or something. But yeah, it's like he didn't play until he was 17. So like he came to basketball late, but now he's so good. But like that's kind of the Lil Baby thing. It's like he came to rap kind of late in his life, and obviously he's just been getting better at it because that's what happens when you do shit more. So it's just like
Cameroon.
Cameroon, there we go. I knew it wasn't like the ones that people usually think of, but yeah, shouts to that. But
like JPP, man, he didn't start football until he was a senior in high school.
Exactly. And it's crazy, but then it's like then you wonder why they get better over time because like they're not like fully formed on that shit. So it's just crazy that that's where Lil Baby is. But yeah, I think Lemon Pepper One's my favorite, and then What's Next, my second favorite. And I also had already heard it like as a leak a couple weeks ago, and so but it's definitely hyphy. I fuck with it,
and I like because it kind of how I go with the lyrics, and like I think it relates. I liked how he talked about all summer, all he did was rest. Then he has sex and all that shit. Yeah, I'm kind of like, and it's real. Like that, like that's what the pandemic should have been. You know what I'm saying? Like people working on themselves and then figuring out what's next. You know what I'm saying? Like, stopping this idea of like, yo, everything's over forever. It's like, oh, they closed the bars, bro. Your life's over because they closed the bars. Like, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, it'd be bullshit. So, yeah. But I'll go into my what I usually do, my box bangs and slaps. My bangs this week, I'm gonna go with Duke Deuce Army. Duke Deuce dropped a new album called Duke Nukem. If you don't know him, he's like a Memphis dude. Definitely every song that you have, you can kind of feel the Memphis 3-6 Mafia type vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very heavily influencing his music.
Which, by the way, today is 3-6 Mafia Day. Shouts.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, it is. That's crazy. Yeah. So I would say check him out, especially if you fuck with the Memphis sound. You got Tay Keith is from Memphis, even though his sound is kind of more modern. But you got fucking Young Dolph and Key Glock. They're also Memphis guys. So like just heavy speaker knocking like instrumentation because Memphis. Black folks in Memphis are big on like shit banging in their speakers and their fucking subwoofers in their cars. So like that's how all the music sounds, I love that shit. It's great in the car music, which is like I listen to this album.
If you're in the car, yes.
Yeah, I listened to this album in my car and I was like, this shit bangs. So I would say check out the album for sure. And then my song that slaps, I'm gonna go with what am I gonna go with? I don't even know. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go with something a little more low key. I'm gonna go with "Immunity" by Benny the Butcher in El Camino, mainly because Benny the Butcher, shouts to him. He's from upstate New York, Buffalo. Him and Griselda, they all blowing up and shit. That they've been blowing up for a couple, I guess years now. But he got a famous tape called "The Plugs I Met" that came out a couple years ago, and they linking up to do "Plugs I Met 2" in a couple weeks. I'm sure that shit's gonna be fire. And this was the first single off of it. So I would definitely say check that shit out. And then my song that bops, I'm gonna go with let's see. Oh, I know what I'm gonna go with. And it's
this
it's
seems
like
special. What's good?
I don't know. I'm like trying to
Oh, I know what it
search
is. I
through.
know what it is. I know what
Yeah,
it is.
bro, it's
But
fucking Anderson Paak and fucking Bruno Mars.
I know my guy.
Leave the Door Open. They fucking announced they were dropping a joint album, and I'm like, I ain't never even think of an Anderson Paak and Bruno Mars collab. But then when they announced, I'm like, that shit make all the sense in the world.
They just went to
Like,
Mars, you know what I'm saying? So why not
exactly.
get
Anderson
Bruno
Paak
involved?
makes some of the most smoothest, like low key pimp music fucking ever. And Bruno Mars, ever since like 2015, he's kind of like pioneered this, like, he's definitely going back and getting into like that funky bag, but it's also kind of like low key, like old school, like love slash pimp type shit. And so like they're, them coming together on the album makes way too much sense that I'm kind of mad I didn't think about them being like collaborators at some point. But like, yeah, they dropping an album, and the first single off of that bitch was Leave the Door Open, and this song is so fucking smooth. I ran that shit back Friday night like 20 times in a row, because it's just perfect between, like, Anderson Paak's verses where he's kind of like giving the slick shit, you know what I'm saying, about the girl coming over, like he leaving the door open for you, that he shaved and shit, and his baby face, and then you got fucking Bruno Mars fucking singing his fucking heart out on the hook and doing the ad libs, and that shit is smooth as fuck, bro. So, and I think they dropped the intro too. I listened to that, and that shit was like great. It had the Bootsy Collins feature, and I'm like, oh yeah, this album about to be a classic for sure. So, yeah, if you for some reason, I think it's already like number one on iTunes. That shit's gonna probably be number one in the country, because Anderson Paak already is amazing, a great artist, and so is Bruno Mars. But it's like Bruno Mars is like extremely fucking popular with, like, even like white dads, you know what I mean? It's like
At the
24,
wedding dancing.
like 24K Magic is about like fucking being off cocaine and shit, but like that's the fucking shit people listen to in fucking weddings and shit. So it's kind of funny that he went from like I want to marry you and fucking billionaire to what he is now. So, but yeah, that shit is it's gonna be fire. I can't wait for that shit. It's a lot of good. The first couple months of the new year, the music's kind of been low key. It's more like D-list people dropping music and like chilling because they can't go on tours and shit. But I feel like we're getting a lot of music coming up soon that I'm pretty fucking excited for. So those are my songs of the week.
I usually don't get this hype for a movie coming up, but I really am excited for Mortal Kombat, bro. That looks
yeah.
that looks
sure.
so sick, bro.
We're gonna talk about Mortal Kombat on the other podcast.
Okay, cool. I might have to jump on that one.
Godzilla and versus what's his name, King Kong. We might talk about that. We WandaVision just finished, so we're gonna do a pod on that this week. So obviously look out for that. I know we didn't get into the promos yet, but I mean, I guess we are here now.
Yeah, we are. I was saying, for those that are new to us, bro, thanks for putting up with me week in and week out. But for those that want to catch us, I'll plug the sponsor in a little bit. But where can they find us?
Yeah, man, make sure you hit us up on any of the social medias. But first, you can, I'm not sure what you're listening to us on right now, but we're already on Spotify. That's like the main squeeze. That's the bottom bitch. I don't know if that's probably a faux pas right now. I probably can't say that shit no more. But yeah, that's
it's the support system.
Yeah, exactly. And then but we're also on all the other streamings, bro. We're on Spotify. You don't even got to switch from your playlist, from your song that you're listening to already. If you're listening to the new Drake, you can go straight from Lemon Pepper Freestyle to us talking about your lemon pepper wings or some shit. I don't really know. And then you can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, if you're in the iPhone gang, which I know a lot of people are, and you're over there being a little snobby and shit, even though I got an iPhone too, so I already know what that's like.
I got two phones like Kevin Gates.
Hey, Kevin Gates dropped the album too. That wasn't too bad. But yeah, you can check us out on there. We're on Google Play, we're on Stitcher Radio. We're on all those places obviously. If you're looking at our beautiful faces right now, we're on the YouTubes. If you haven't checked us out on YouTube yet, you can. It's a little different from the regular show. We can't splice the music into YouTube without getting probably fined. So we don't do that. It's just kind of us straight talking. But if you're more of the visual learner, visual person, and you need to see our mannerisms and us, our faces when somebody say something, obviously that might be a little better for you if you just got time to watch us. But yeah, shouts to that. And then obviously, if you want to interact with the show on any of the social medias, make sure you follow us there if you haven't already. On Facebook, we're just the Bucket Up Podcast. On Instagram, we're at the Bucket Hat Boys. Jesse Stray's putting like memes and videos on there. I still got to get the login for that, so I forgot doing my shit. And then on Twitter, we're at Bucket Up Podcast. Just hit us up on there if you want to just interact with the show. You got shit that you want us to talk about, shit that you think is funny. You could help us be a producer. We got one producer. Shouts to Big Trav. But we could have other producers being like, "Hey, have you heard about this? This is fucking funny. Y'all should talk about it."
I mean, we technically have 3 producers.
Yeah. I wasn't counting us, but yes. So hit us up on there, and then make sure if you can leave us a review. Make sure you do on Apple Podcasts. Make sure it's 5 stars. Let's say something nice if you're feeling kind or whatever. Or if you're on Spotify, make sure you follow us so that you don't miss any of the new episodes when we drop them. Because I know, especially the last couple of weeks, we've been sporadic with it. We don't want you to miss out if we, took a week or 2 off because somebody has a baby or something.
Yeah,
I want you to make sure you catch that.
Hopefully that won't be a surprise thing. Like,
nah.
this just in.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, obviously we're loved organically. And then, what I'm saying, I don't know the other word, but, what I'm saying, we got a sponsor. We got 2 sponsors, Daniel Phillip Watch. You know what I'm saying? You got jewelry. You got, a need for a watch. You want to look icy and tell the time. Promo code Bucket Up, get 30% off. Sunday Scaries, man, they be hooking it up with the anti-anxiety, the gummies, the CBD. Again, it's not THC, it doesn't get you high. Stop asking, like, can I eat it before and after work? That's like saying, can I drink coffee at work? It's, yes, it's, it's vitamins. So with that being said, man, promo code Bucket Up, you get 20% off. And I'm not putting names on blast, but I'm definitely, and people know it's cool. The people that jump in my DMs and like to negate and argue with me about my political posts, I always try to go back and go, word, well, how's that CBD rocking? You got time to argue with me. You got time to support, right? Mm-hmm. And same dudes that are arguing with me that we shouldn't be raising minimum wage and people should pull themselves up by bootstraps and no handouts. And then I go, okay, so Mr. Moneybags, why don't you support my pod full time? You know what I'm saying? You got the money, Mr. All right. So anyway,
exactly.
Yeah, but nah,
pull us up with your bootstraps, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, yeah. I'll rock any color boot you want if you pull them up. But nah, with that being said, yeah, shouts to Utah, shouts to the Buckets that continue to support. Like I said, Sunday Scaries, Daniel Phillip Watch, they the plugs, they're the sponsors. We already dropped where they can find us, bro. Trying to think. On volume 158 after that's in the Bookingtons, you know what I'm saying? We're getting closer to the 160s. So, reach out if y'all trying to get on the pod. You know what I'm saying? I know a couple people been reaching out saying they want to collab, do some crossovers. So we're going to get back to our crossover ways with some other brands and pods and possible shows. So look out for that. But yeah, man, for the Bucket Up podcast, for the Bucket Hat Boys, volume 158. We out. I'm on my way to the football stadium tonight as I'm doing my other broadcasts and stuff. Hey. So I'm it's just been all Mike's matter tonight. You know what I'm saying? Hey. But yeah, man, for the Bucket Hat Boys, with the kid JB, DJ Butter, we out.
Cheer.